Hi, I'm Maeve Maiden. So I wanted to do a video. I'm gonna call it. Hold on. Okay, you might hear my son in the background. He's a gamer. Hold on. I'm trying to get the lighting not bad here. There we go. So he's a gamer, and you might hear him. Anyway, so I wanted to do a video about. It's this is gonna be a new channel that I'm starting because I lost my phone and I'm having to start my YouTube from scratch. So that's why I have no followers, no subscribers, and nothing, no history. So hopefully it'll all work out. I'm not gonna worry about it. Anyway, um, so it's gonna be called Minutes with Maeve. That's mine, my idea, my copyright, whatever. So Minutes with Maeve. And basically today's Minutes with Maeve is, and what Minutes with Maeve was supposed to be, is I give my commentary. This sounds so dumb, and it actually sounds very narcissistic. Okay. It's embarrassing. Okay, but anyway, this was something I came up with. I'm a writer by nature, and I'm actually working on a book, but I in my head, sometimes I think I figured out like major economic and political issues when really I probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, it's kind of fun to just talk about it. So my new obsession right now, there's so many, such fucking awesome abandoned videos on YouTube. Okay, it's my new obsession, and I don't know how I found this. I haven't found this before, but anyway. So there's all these kids, and most of them are younger, but there's some other explorers that are a little bit older. But anyway, it's awesome. Like they go into the abandoned buildings and stuff, and like old castles, and I mean some of these channels have been around for like 4, 5, 6 years, even some even older. But it's just been an obsession of mine lately. So what I was thinking, okay, now I don't know about other countries. I've only lived here in the U.S., but I do have family that lives overseas, and I know I have some friends that live overseas, so I know a little bit. But we here in the U.S. in particular have a very stupid, ridiculous homeless problem. Bad. We're one of the richest, well, we were one of the richest countries in the world. I don't know how about that now, but we were. But the point is, we still have stupid amounts of homes, meaning buildings, apartment buildings, old abandoned buildings that are not occupied. A lot of these buildings, they're being held up in some sort of limbo because they're owned by banks and major corporations, and they're literally just sitting there waiting for the day that one day they might get like sold at some auction, or someone in the family of a bank person might live there or something. I mean, there's so much red tape with this crap that it's sickening. Okay, so that's number one. When I watch these abandoned videos, number one, I appreciate them. I appreciate the work that these content creators go to create these videos and expose these properties and everything. It's awesome. I love it. The downside, and what I think also when I'm watching them, is why can't we put people in them? Why can't people live there? I don't get it. Not only that, but okay, mind you, a lot of them are totally unsafe and dilapidated. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the ones that just need a little upkeep, just need some TLC and, whatever. Why can't we help our homeless community and rehab these places for them? I'm not talking about Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity was probably a good idea in the beginning, but where it went wrong is where they got government funding and started going that way. As soon as you start involving the government and all of this red tape and all of this, That's when these programs go south quick. And I want nothing to do with them. Okay, I've lived, number one, I was born in a middle class family. I've lived in the suburbs. I was spoiled growing up, okay? I had no clue what Section 8 public housing, none of that was. Fast forward to later in my life. I'm a single mom of 4 kids. I was divorced. I was broke, poor. I mean, I was pregnant every other year. So, I mean, you know, I didn't have a career. I didn't get to finish college. I tried going to medical school to become a nurse. I tried, I worked for a real estate company for a while, tried becoming a real estate agent. I could not focus on any one thing because I had kids that were young and needed me most of the time. So I couldn't, I'm not using that as an excuse, I'm just saying. I couldn't dive into a career like I really wanted to. I didn't learn how to balance life with my kids and career life. A lot of women do it, and Lord knows they're super women, because I couldn't do it. I tried, and I always worked. I never took any of like welfare and all of that for granted, okay? Because it did help me get through those formative years when my kids were younger. I still have kids that are, you know, somewhat young, but anyway, beside the point. I'm saying, you know, when in their much younger years, I had my kids in Head Start. I used WIC. I had food stamps, and I lived, I actually, at one point, Catholic Charities helped me get into a townhouse in Baltimore. Oh, I'm supposed to say where I live. Okay, anyway. Pretend you didn't hear that. Okay, anyway. Alright, so it doesn't matter. I've lived all over the country, so whatever. Okay, so I lived in you know, I had help from Catholic Charities at one point. I also lived in, okay, so after that, I left and went to public housing. I lived in public housing for a long time, okay? It wasn't just, I thought I was going to be living in public housing maybe a couple months, a year, and then I was going to go on to some other program and, you know, get, you know, something better, whatever. I was so naive about this system. I can't even tell you. I'm writing a book. That's how much I still have to say about it. Anyway, this is minutes with Maeve, not hours with Maeve. So we're just gonna skip on through some of these things. Okay, so again, back to the abandoned, homeless housing issues. I was in these programs, and like I said, Habitat for Humanity, and my hat goes off to these people that start these programs with good intentions. It's great. It's awesome that was ever created. I think it's great. The problem is, and you know, I think this is why I went through these different things in this life, so that I could learn the real deal. Because being a being a spoiled little suburban girl from, you know, upper middle class family, going to living in public housing, it's an awakening process. I mean, into going from having everything. I mean, you know, growing up I had everything. Both of my parents worked very hard, but I had 2 parents in the home, and I had anything that I needed and wanted. Yeah, there were things that I probably wanted that I didn't get. I mean, I wasn't that spoiled. I wasn't like, you know, Paris Hilton or something. But, you know, I was fortunate. But the thing is that I learned when I became a single mother that I took a lot of things for granted. Okay. And so now, you know, and I have passion about this, okay? I have a passion about housing. I have a background in real estate because over the years I have developed relationships with real estate agents. I've worked for them. I've done social media management for them. I would basically was a personal assistant to a very well-known real estate agent at one point. I've been in $1 million homes as an support person, but that's the other side of this. That's why I have such passion about this, because I've seen excuse me, I've seen the amount of homes that go sitting with no residents. That's the problem I have, on top of the abandoned thing. So when you think about it, I wonder if we would, in our communities, kind of take a look at the homes in our areas that are not, oh, it's 11:11, hold on, sorry. So much synchronicity today, it's crazy. I have to acknowledge it. Okay, okay, I felt that one for sure. Anyway, so I believe this is the age of Aquarius that we're moving into, and home is going to become something that most of us are focusing on. Some of us have probably spent the last year in our homes and want to get the heck out, like we're tired of being in our homes. That's understood, but I think what we're being reminded of is being grateful for having a home, because I have been on all sides of it. I've had a very abundant home where I had two parents that worked, and I never had to worry about where our next meal was coming from, or if my parents were going to be able to pay their bills, or any of that, to being a single mother. Literally, and I'm not proud of the things that I did, but I had to do to feed my kids. I stole from grocery stores before to feed my kids. I did, and I'm saying that here on video. I'm being drawn to make this video to say, it's just these things, that I'm not proud of. I'm going into 2021 a brand new person in so many senses of the words. I can't even tell you. But I also want to say that, being that I've become spiritually enlightened, I'm still an asshole sometimes. I'm still a bitch. I still know how to be envious and sometimes unkind and sometimes selfish. Oh, yeah, all of those things. And lustful and, not the best mother, or, not the best daughter, not the best sister that I could be. I have been all of these things and will continue to be, because I'm a human person. I'm not perfect, and none of us are. But the main reason back to the reason I made this video, was because I was really focusing on these abandoned videos and how it just doesn't make sense to me. Sometimes it's so frustrating to me that literally we have people waiting to get approval for Section 8 programs. I waited. I moved to where I live now 5 or 6 years ago, and I had a Section 8 voucher. I lost my voucher. This is the other thing, okay? I have to do an entire video on that whole housing program. Oh my God. I don't know how other people have not done videos on that. It's a total crock of shit. Anyway, okay, so what I'm gonna end this video because it's gone on long enough, but basically I just think that Minutes with Maeve, I think I have a good idea that as a community we could come together and I don't know, maybe meet up on the weekends and try to find places in our area that are in need of some TLC, but are kind of just sitting there waiting for new people to move in, or families to take over, and they can be bought for very cheap and fixed up. This is what we need to be focusing on, not all this other crap that people are focusing on right now, including in my own family and people that I know and myself sometimes. It's like, if we could just regroup and put our minds together to kind of combat these social issues, I think we can come out on top and come out a much happier community of people. And the collective, collective meaning our whole human, all of us, because I'm sure that housing is not just a US issue. Pretty sure everybody around the world needs to have a place to live. So I would be interested to know what your thoughts are on housing, and if you have any kind of ideas that maybe about, maybe so there's something they're doing in your community to help with housing during the pandemic. And this is bigger than creating more shelters, because if you look, and this is the last, I'm going to end on this, and then I'll do another video about the housing program, because I know from being on the inside that there's some real shady shit going on in there. But anyway, yeah, housing shelters are a nightmare, especially for families. What I've noticed is they tend to only kind of cater to men. First of all, they supposedly cater to women and children. But I gotta tell you, every time I've seen or even encountered a shelter, because I've had to call shelters before. Yes, I've been homeless. They have a majority of men, because women don't feel safe there, number one. And number two, it's so degrading. These places, the ones that I've encountered, now I don't know, I can't speak for all of them. Obviously, I'm one person. I've only had the experiences I've had. In the experiences I've had, they're not safe for women and children. They're not. So if we're going to create more shelters, why don't we make them nicer? Why don't we make them comfortable for women and children? Like a hotel, turn an abandoned hotel into a shelter. How about that? Give people of little means some kind of dignity. It would really make a difference in a lot of people's lives. I can't tell you how, and I'm gonna cry because I've seen, actually, I'm gonna have to talk about it in another video, because I could talk all day about shelters and homeless moms with kids and stuff. It's just, it shouldn't happen. This is a country that has been great before and can be great again, but it will require a coming together of people, and there's a dividing line between the haves and the have-nots right now, and we really need to put that together to where the haves share with the have-nots out of their own goodness of their heart, not because we're telling them to, not because we're like, oh, you have $2 million, why don't you give $1 million to everybody else? No, I'm not saying that, because if you've worked hard for your family, or you've done some kind of great achievement and gotten a lot of money, and you want to help yourself and your friends, fine, good for you. But I'm just saying that out of the goodness of our hearts, we should want to help our neighbors and our loved ones, and not just exclude everyone else and pretend like they're not there, because there are millions of people, in billions, I don't even know, in the world, and one person's goodwill can go so far. And if each of us just does a little bit that we can do, it will help. So, peace, everybody. Again, comment. I would love to hear your comments about housing. Any suggestions you have, or things, examples in your community, maybe some good ideas that we can kind of share with each other. And please subscribe, because I want to have more conversations with people who are thinking about the same kind of things I'm thinking about right now, and share ideas. And like the video if you liked it. If you like me, subscribe to my channel, and look for more from me, because I've got a lot to say. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, I'm grateful to be alive, and I'm excited for things to come in the future for 2021. I just think, I don't know, I'm excited about 2021. So, love to all, peace on earth, and take care.